to hurt the Congress party. Sunil Jakhar, who was again in contention to be chief minister, was denied because he's not a Sikh. He has tweeted that it's not just cricket. What stands compromised in this entire episode is faith in the outgoing PCC president by the Congress leadership. No amount of grandstanding can justify this breach of trust, placing his benefactors in a peculiar predicament. Who are these benefactors, Pallavi? Everybody knows who these benefactors are. And Mr. Jakhar is right, and nobody will blame him for, twisting the knife right now, because he may feel rightfully he should have been the chief minister. He was denied on whatever grounds he was denied. But right now, when he says the benefactors of Mr. Sidhu should be more embarrassed about this than Mr. Sidhu himself, he's right. He's absolutely right, Pallavi.
It's a complete mess, actually, Jakhar. And look at Sunil Jakhar. He was at one point of time handpicked by the captain, made the PCC chief because the captain did not want Pratap Singh Bajwa as the PCC chief. So Bajwa was replaced by Sunil Jakhar. Sunil Jakhar was pro-captain, but when he saw the tide turning, he decided to switch over to Navjot Singh Sidhu. He thought he's going to become the chief minister. He didn't become the chief minister, so he's very angsty about it. And today, of course, he goes back to attacking Navjot Singh Sidhu. So we don't even know who's standing on which side at this point of time. Over here in the national capital, we have a captain and Amrinder Singh obviously saying, I told you so. And he's going to keep on hammering this at the top Congress leadership, which is why I'm just going back to the point and agreeing with you, Zaka. We may attack Navjot Singh Sidhu, call him Matlabi, say he broke the trust. We can attack Captain Amrinder Singh for his style of working. But at the end of the day, this is just a pure reflection of what's gone wrong as far as decision making is concerned. But beyond that, I think this is just a political, Punjab was a different case. Yeah. Punjab was one state which does not seem to be having a strong BJP over there. So BJP was not a strong contender. Second, it was a state where at least the Congress looks to be winning. And we are talking around a good 4 months back. Everything has changed. At this point of time, why would a voter want to vote for a party which does not even know where it stands? Who are the MLAs? Who's going to get the ticket? Who's going to be contesting from which political parties? Even as we speak, the meeting is going on at Navjot Singh Sidhu's residence in Patiala. I am told some more leaders may quit. He's clearly putting pressure on the central leadership.
No, so what we know is at least 5 leaders, 5 supporters of Navjot Singh Sidhu, which includes, I think, a couple of sitting ministers as well in this cabinet, have all resigned. Obviously, they're doing it at his behest, wanting to put pressure on the High Command. But Kailash Adhikari, I can't think of anybody gaining from this other than the Akalis, because by default, they are the biggest opposition party in Punjab. And perhaps the Aam Aadmi Party, who knows? Maybe the people of Punjab want to give them a chance. And this mess that has happened within the Congress, shooting itself in the foot, the only people who can derive some benefit out of it are either the Akalis or the Aam Aadmi Party.
Saka, I'd like to mention that the only people to lose out here are the citizens of Punjab. What happens is that, I've mentioned on your show also many times that Congress needs strong introspection at the current time. As mentioned by the lady in the panel, that Punjab was the only state where naturally Congress had a good amount of vote in the assembly, and it could be a poster boy if proper administration would have run, a strong government could have run for 2024 for Congress. But I believe that the Congress leadership does not look into the fact that it needs to project itself as a united self. What is happening is that when Captain Amrinder Singh was chosen into power, Congress was chosen into power into Punjab after so much anti-incumbency of the previous government, they had a golden chance. And now they're just giving away the golden chance.
No, so Captain Amrinder Singh tweeted, I think an hour or so back, and it was a pretty, a cryptic tweet or prophetic. Let's see, depending on how the outcome plays itself out. But RP Singh, Captain, basically said that this is all just drama. Sidhu is just laying the ground to leave the Congress party. He did not say where he thinks Sidhu might go. Do you believe it's possible that Sidhu might be setting the ground to leave Congress and join the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, you should ask this to Rashid Kadwai. He's the spokesperson of the Congress today in your panel. He's the best man to answer the question which you asked me. But anyhow, see, Sidhu has no room left now. I mean, I doubt Aam Aadmi Party will entertain him. And then he has no room left. He's just trying to push his way through because he thinks he can manage things through remote control. He wanted to manage things through remote control, and he thought Charanjit Singh will be managed that way. But Channi will be managed that way, and Channi refused to go by his diktat. And then that's the reason. And then if you know, shall I tell you the real reason? The real reason is the message from the High Command through Mr. Rawat, Mr. Harish Rawat, who said that Sidhu will be the face. So man thought, I am going to be the next minister. This is the night watchman. So let me do what I want to do. He has to play or not play. I'll decide which ball he to hit. I'll decide. So that is not happening. So
No,
it's the
so
fault of the central
what you're saying, RP Singh, is that the night watchman went on to make a half century. That's what Mr. Channi did.
No. He not only not half century, he don't movement half century. He says that I'll be the next opener also.
Okay. Rashid Kidwai, I mean, we have seen Indian politics is full of curious examples of people who are absolutely, unexpected sort of dark horses being thrust into a job and then went on to thrive. Most notably, I mean, I'll give you the example of Manmohan Singh. I don't think in 2004 anybody expected, when the Congress won and the UPA won, anybody expected Manmohan Singh would be appointed as Prime Minister. And he did. He did for 10 years.
Absolutely. I think, Zaka, a lot depends upon the outcome. I mean, Mr. Chandi's career, or for the better, Congress, and as long as Sidhu is part of Congress, it all depends. They need to win this election. Only when they win election, then this whole talk will be there, who will be the chief minister and what will be the role of key players, etc. So I think Mr. Sidhu understands it. Look, from Sidhu's point of view, if you analyze it in a very objective manner, what is he saying? He wanted, some kind of an element of probity, some kind of, action against Akalis. All this is political agenda. When his political agenda is not being fulfilled, it seems to be compromised. He has taken a stand. And I think Gandhis will see this, and there will be some kind of outcome in next 48 hours or so.
One second. Let's be very clear. Him taking a stand and him pressing the nuclear button are two different things. In politics, as you very well know, Rashid, no, one second. There are pushes and pulls. No, there are pushes and pulls. Sometimes the PCC chief does not get his entire way. Sometimes the chief minister does not get his entire way. You learn to make compromises, right? That politics at the end of the day is the art of compromising. And it's not like Mr. Sidhu has not compromised in the past. Let's be very clear about that, right? If you have to be in politics, you need to make some compromises. So this whole Rana Gurjeet example, one second. Can I just give me 10 seconds? This whole Rana Gurjeet example, saying that he's a tainted minister, corruption charges against him. He's not the first minister in Punjab who's had corruption charges against him. I can understand the APS Diol case because him being elevated as Advocate General, same person represented the Badals in the firing case as their advocate. Yes, there is some sentiment associated there. But to say probity and I can't compromise, a man's character starts falling when he starts compromising. Come on, let's be clear.
Absolutely. No, Zaka, I'm with you. I'm with you. These are postures, similar postures that were adopted by, Arvind Kejriwal at one point of time, by VP Singh by another point of time. These things happened. What I'm saying is, let's not be, too judgmental. I think we need to decide about Gandhis. Are Gandhis autocrats or they're Democrats? Should they be deciding who should be the police, chief or
I don't know about whether they are autocrats or Democrats. Point is, they made a sitting chief minister, they made him weak, they removed him, they trusted somebody else in his place, and today their judgment stands exposed. That's all I'm saying. Pallavi, that is the limited point that I'm making. Yes, it's bad enough for Mr. Sidhu, bad enough for Mr. Channi's government, but I think the ultimate loser in this is the person who decided to install Mr. Sidhu in the first place. And I'm not taking names.
I can't agree. I'm sorry with Rashid at all. I mean, because we've been covering this story and we are there on the ground, and I see the reactions of many leaders who don't want to come on camera and say it. And I'm not talking about the so-called G23. I'm also talking about many others who were telling us today that, we just don't understand what's happening. They say that, it's okay you want to change the leadership in the state level. It is okay you want to have a new face. That's
all right. We lost the audio with Pallavi. We'll go back. Yeah.